Нет. Продолжаем проходить диско Elysium. У нас 2 очка. Давайте мысль сделаем по расовой теории. Современная расовая теория. Что она дает? -1 драма. Ну давайте попробуем. Ладно, тут она даст, конечно, -1 к драме, но так как как вам сказать, это нужно для квеста, то давайте сделаем. Так. У нас еще 1 очко осталось. Драма. Ну и как бы типа компенсируем, да, сразу. Самообладание, восприятие, координация. Так. Да, давайте. Компенсируем, так сказать. Что ж. Ну, мы вообще поговорили с ними вчера, насколько я помню. Да. Ну что ж. Проверять ловушки нужно теперь. Давайте теперь с этими чуваками поговорим. Папашей пиздюком. Музыка супер депрессивная. Все, окей.
And Mikhail noticed the windows, especially with how there are no windows on the south side. This was to deal with. You officers, come to investigate the historic subtext of West Martinez? I'm Tran Heilostam. You must be Kim Kitaragi, right? I was just telling my son about this building. Not a lot of people realize the historic significance here. Very rich in hypertext.
Nice to meet you.
Yes, hypertext. Young Carp and the collection of cultural hyperlinks.
He's just making up fancy words. This doesn't mean anything.
Oh yes, so Mikhail. They had to deal with monitor glare, especially in the summer. They still had vector monitors back then. That was 49 years ago. So they didn't have windows on the south wall. No, I can't say that we've met before, but I've heard of Kim, of course. Mikhail, say hi to the officers. Mikhail's a little tired today. We spent all night trying to run Orbis on his radio computer. Have you heard of it? It's a programming language used in Grad. Quite tricky, but he wanted to play this Grad-made adventure program. We've been getting...
The man speaks in the artificial cadence of a professor, or someone who's been on too many radio shows.
But I assume you're not here for giant worms when there are so many real things to see. Just as I was telling Mikhail before, this is where the Coalition landed in '08. We could be standing on what is the most interesting landmark in Revachol West.
Wow, get a load of this guy. He really enjoys his trivia. The Orbis programming language was named after its inventor, Victor Orbis, a cybernetician from Grad. They run Vox in the Occidental countries.
Aha! But it's not just any empty old building. What not a lot of people know is this used to be the R&D department of Felt Electrical, and Felt, which now sells ink cartridges mostly, was once a top dog in the turn-of-the-century cybernetics boom.
It looks old and weathered, with seagulls picking apart its stone and metal carcass. Bushy undergrowth has taken hold of the collapsed rooftop. Some kind of bird has set up a nest on a broken windowsill.
That's not surprising. Only a vestigial ink cartridge and ferrotape manufacturer remains. They started out as a midway electronics outfit in Königstein 2 centuries ago. After an aggressive move to Revachol, Feld became a global player in the emerging personal electronics market of the pre-revolutionary era. Still, Tricentennial was beating them in business machines. But Feld had an ace up their sleeve, or should I say they were developing an ace up their sleeve? I'm mixing my metaphors here. It was here in Martinez, possibly in this very building, that they developed prototypes for a tape computer. An elegant folding mechanism of rollers and ferrotape ribbons, portable enough to be a take-it-home solution, revolutionizing business machines, possibly even bring them to the average consumer. Which is a feat of engineering even today's giants, Rehm, ICN and ZAM, haven't achieved yet.
He assumes something like a combat stance, facing the wind.
Indeed. What?
The revolution!
Unfortunately, their moonshot project never made it to the market. Feld's move to Revachol backfired. The revolutionary government liquefied their assets and expropriated those very advanced prototypes. Possibly from all of this was built by Feld, even the boardwalk. Wild Pines built Martinez proper as a resort for their middle management. Feld built this side of town for R&D. Yes, they even built a pleasure wheel, but that got destroyed in the war.
A pleasure wheel?
Yes, to lure in their star engineers. This part of Martinez was nothing but reeds before Feld arrived. They had to make the prospect of living here attractive. It was supposed to become a global center for innovation in cybernetics. But history had other plans. Oh, I'm afraid it didn't end well for the boys. But this story is a bit too dark for little Mikhail here. Now, if you were to ask about tape computers...
Wait, is he saying that we should just bypass the excesses of the revolution?
Officer, I told you this chapter of history wasn't on Mikhail's curriculum yet. Let's keep this kid friendly.
The boy looks first at you, then back at his father, confused.
Окунем пиздюка, короче, прям в самую суть жизни, короче. Прям сразу, чтобы он понимал, где он заспавнился, блять.
They used them for military communications, but also to write and send out press releases, the most notorious example being Le Décret de Mars. What's the Mars Decree? I mean the radio transmission sent out to news agencies and world governments by the newly created Commune of Revachol on the 7th of March in the year 02.
A short-lived legislative foundation for a
It's a beautiful piece of text, actually. A singer-songwriter I know, Charette, called it a love poem to Revachol on her political concept album, Bombecer dans ce Lind. You should read it. Every local library in Revachol stocks a copy of the decree. I tried to get Mikhail to memorize it. Tried to. Someone was much too interested in worms to be paying any attention.
The kid takes a peek at the green and silver worm on the cover of the book, already forgetting about this part of the discussion.
Actually, no one knows. No one even knows what a computer made entirely of tape would look like. But word has it, they were very elegant, exquisite, alien-looking turn-of-the-century hardware.
Buckle up.
10 years ago, I did a little freelancing, I guess you could say. I was a special consultant for an exhibition at the Womty Dumpty Dum Center in Vredefort, Oranje. It raised the same questions, and we had lengthy discussions with Paul Ockerman, who was head curator at the time. This was before the twins Keith and Guy Ju.
Wait, did he just say Wumpty Dumpty Dum Center? He did it. He said Wumpty Dumpty Dum Center, like it's the most natural thing in the world. What the hell is a Wumpty Dumpty Dum Center? And who the hell are Keith and Guy Yost?
The Womty Dumpty Dum Center for Contemporary Arts. The exhibition itself drew on Lagerman's notion of memory, and so there were some parallels. That's why the head curator, Paul Ockerman, chose to...
Actually, I think there is. No, it's too much. He's joking.
In fact, I'm not. The Womty Dumpty Dum Center is a place you can visit if you're ever in Vredefort and are ever in the market for an exhibition space / contemporary art research center. But perhaps I should return to the tape computers. As I was saying, the device itself was very elegant, fragile even. One could write directly on the tape using a special chemical solution. The machine would then...
Made of black film and folding tape structures.
Even one would be very useful. Though I understand the socio-economic causes of the revolution, it pains me to imagine the revolutionaries setting fire to the precious device. But so they did. The Feld playback experiment vanished into... Yes, the official name of the prototype. Some sources report it as the Feld playback experience. But those... Who knows? Maybe it was an accident, or maybe they didn't want the technology to end up in the wrong hands. Either way, they're all gone now. All 3 versions of the prototype. Nothing but debris and ashes remain inside that building. But of course, what else? I do have some money, yes, but that's not what's really important here.
No, I mean, come on. You need the money. If it's not a thing, he can give you some.
Oh no, I don't have it on me, officer. I was talking in more general terms. I'm just spending time with my kid here, showing him around the lesser-known parts of our hometown. It wouldn't be wise.
Not that he would have to worry about being robbed. He looks surprisingly buff. Does he work out?
I do some Lomantang stick fighting now and then.
Lo Mantang stick fighting is a form of martial arts originating from the island of Lo Mantang.
Actually, a great many cultures have their own version of stick fighting, such as the sacred Mabolo tradition of the Harli people, the name deriving from the butterfruit tree traditionally used for crafting the...
You doze off as he paints you a comprehensive picture of the history of stick fighting among mankind, seasoning it with Man, he's good at speaking. People...
But anyway, I'm boring you with details again. You were saying? Lomantang stick fighting is a little like a Berolidin addiction. I've been practicing it for nearly 20 years now, so you could say that my doses have grown a little peculiar.
Dad's fighting with sticks every night after dinner for 4 hours. He has a special room for that and a special costume.
That's right, Mikhail. It also has a meditative quality. Helps to clear my head. But anyway. Sure. What's on your... But of course. No, thanks to you for having me and little Mikhail here to pick your brain.
Pick your brain? If anything, this was rather once.
Так, окей. Погнали дальше. Угу. Тут можно куда-то залезть, смотрите. Каким-то образом куда-то пролезть, перелезть. Во, наверное, вот сюда. Наверняка. Так, смотрите-ка. А, вот тут труп был, да. Его убрали. Так, хорошо. Давайте попробуем. Нет, сюда что-то не идет. Но определенно там есть дверь какая-то наверху. Музыка супер депрессивная, пипец просто. Вот, лестница. Как до нее добраться? Угу. Что-то не получается, слушайте. И сюда не пролезть. З. Фигня какая-то. Ладно. Давайте пойдем ловушки искать. Как туда попасть? Наверх. Так, что это? Ага, бункер. Давайте попробуем в бункер зайти. Двигатель должно быть очень большой.
The wind has blown a sand dune in front of it. The door hasn't been opened in a long while. You see a handle.
It's military. A service depot of some sort.
Серафим Тоттенуген. Там лестница возле большой вывески была, не юзается. Там лестница была возле большой вывески. Да нет. Там же, когда на таб жмешь, у тебя все подсвечивается. Вот. Ну, сейчас еще раз туда схожу, посмотрим. Но я ничего там не заметил такого. Сооружение времен войны, какой-то склад снабжения. И что он
The washerwoman mentioned a depot up the coast.
Техника, блядь.
She said it was for moving ammo and cargo across the bay.
Это красная проверка. Она доступна всего один раз. Я что-то чувствую, что там баба в этой рыбацкой деревушке говорила про мину какую-то. Какую-то мину. Вот. И... может быть, миной эту хуйню можно было взорвать. Но, кажется, я там завалил диалог, выбрал не тот вариант, короче. Вот, но 20 это просто, ну, короче, 3% это просто невозможно. Это только если дрочить сейф-лот туда-сюда, тогда да. Но я играю не так, короче. То есть я не, если, допустим, что-то провалил, да, то, типа, я не перезагружаюсь обратно. Братчика упоминал. Ну, потому что это будет тупо неинтересно, короче. То есть ты делаешь свою историю своими выборами, своими проверками. То есть, вот, а не дрочением загрузить, сохранить, блядь. Или, ну, точнее, обратно сохранить, загрузить и так далее. Ну, пока что я ничего не могу сделать. Ну, в принципе, оно и видно, что довольно серьезное здесь укрепление какое-то вот это. И... Так, вот ловушка, кстати. И протиснуться туда невозможно пока что. Нам нужно что-то такое, что взрывается. Трясти ловушка, похоже, с такой же сеткой проволокой. Глядеться по сторонам.
In the coastal breeze, they seem to be waiting for something. The wind picks up here, near the Cape's end, surrounding the narrow strip of land from 3 cardinal directions. It's cold for this time of year.
Зябковато для нынешнего сезона взять ловушку.
Locusts are crawling around in the trap, confused but uneaten.
Big surprise. Anyway, 1 down, 3 to go.
Осталось 3. Ну да.
No, you weren't.
Жаль, жаль, хорошо. Ну, музыка здесь депрессивная, просто жесть. Конечно, ну, в принципе, игра депрессивная, на самом деле, супер депрессивная. Вот, лично меня это прям тоску вогнало. Я уже как бы, типа, ну, неделю, можно сказать, играю, да, вот в нее. Вот, и прям грустно, пиздец.
Hello again.
Грустовская игра какая. А ты ее проходил, эту игру? Ну, она по факту такая, действительно. Вообще, не то чтобы она унылая, нет, у нее такие диалоги интересные, короче. То есть, мир достаточно интересный, все такое, там прописано все довольно талантливо, короче. То есть, философски глубоко там и так далее. То есть, есть над чем подумать. Это как бы, ну, не пустышка, как бы, да, вот не пустышка по факту. Вот. Но, блять, она прям подкашивает нормально. То есть твое состояние. Вот. Так, эти, наверное, чуваки уже ушли. Да, эти чуваки ушли.
This is the trap Morel just set. Checking it over, he said, is just at the reeds by the abandoned campsite. It's good the cryptozoologists left. This isn't a very cozy place to stay. The later it gets, the colder. Remnants of the camp can still be seen in the sand. The fire that's gone
Ну
out.
да, действительно.
You feel strange, somehow. This trap is also full of panicked locusts.
Another empty trap. Always up for a good jog. Otherwise, would I still be on this case with you?
Угу. Хорошо. Может быть, в какой-то момент этот фазмит, или как он там называется, появится в одной из этих ловушек. Вот еще одна.
This trap's not too hard to spot, once you know what to look for. Keeping it hidden has not behind you. The ruins of a residential building rise over the reeds, shielding them from the wind. The reeds rustle, confident. Nothing but locusts in this trap as well. Definitely no cryptozoological.
Empty as all of them. One more of these and we're done. No, I'm fine. I didn't mean to complain, it's just...
Запыхался. Так и я должен был запыхаться на самом деле. Я-то алкоголик старый, блядь, наркоман. По совместительству коп. Так, окей. Дальше. Тут как-то вообще можно? Нет. Нельзя оббежать, все, это тупик. Смотрел обзоры историю мира, лор игры. Тут сюжет мощь, что логично для таких игр. Не всех, к сожалению, сам не играл. Я ничего не смотрел, ни обзоров, ничего на эту игрушку. Я просто как бы типа читал отзывы некоторые там, ну допустим там в Ютубе где-то, да, и, в качестве примера приводили эту игру, да, типа ой, типа великая игра, бла-бла-бла, да, в таком духе. Вот, ну, на сайтах, на разных там, да, вот, где-то в группах там и так далее. Давайте попробуем вот в этот дом зайти. Я, ну, не заходил сюда.
The door has seen better
Дверь
days.
знала
The
лучше.
layer of paint has started to peel off due to the salt and wind from the sea.
I'll wait outside to give you some time and privacy to check out your new living arrangement. But just so you know, after we are done with the day, I'll still be staying in the whirling in rags for the night. We'll meet in front of the shack in the morning.
The key turns with a satisfying click. You can enter the shack now.
Ладно, ну это потом, короче, как-нибудь хорошо. Я тут еще буду проходить точно, не один раз даже.
Waves are beginning to die down. Look at those little bastards.
Why does she care about the waves so much?
What is it with waves and fishermen? We need to be out there with them, fishing, making a living. So I asked, but until that happens, I can try to assist you the best I can. So,
Ну,
what will it be,
блядь,
officer?
я, конечно, понимаю, что офицер, наш протагонист, да, вот этот вот, видите, в левом нижнем углу экрана, он, ну, скажем так, совсем не в форме, он совсем какой-то побитый жизнью, наркоман, пьяница там и так далее, по списку, короче, да, вот, но, как вам сказать-то, не то чтобы я там себя с ним ассоциировал, но просто такое мнение. Ну, вот эта баба, она вроде как, ну, типа, она такая уставшая, побитая жизнью, потому что, ну, как тут можно нормально жить? Вот посмотрите на эту обстановку, это просто жесть, да, как бы. И понятно, ну, в целом, если бы она жила в нормальных условиях, она бы была симпатичной, да. Она просто здесь уставшая такая, да, вот. А в целом, черты лица у нее ничего, такие, пойдет нормально. Вот, как бы, но у нее 3 пиздюка, ну, то есть 3 ребенка. Короче, блядь. И здесь есть такой вариант, что можно с ней, типа, попытаться закружить. Ну, то есть попытаться, там, ну, романтические отношения с ней, там, типа, закрутить, да, там, скажем так. Там, пригласить ее на свидание, там, бла-бла-бла. Вот. Ну, если честно, я бы не стал это делать. Вот. Единственное, что может быть, конечно, что наш герой как раз-таки только такую бабу закружить и способен, как бы, да, то есть получается. Только эта мысль может натолкнуть на то, что, типа, вот, нажать мне, ну, как бы, типа, пригласить ее на свидание, блядь. Вот и все. Сам бы, вот, я бы не стал бы это делать. Ну, нихуя себе, 3 личинуса от какого-то алкоголика. Вы что, шутите, что ли?
Oh, that's good to know, I guess. Why is it in the sea?
Это инсталляция.
This calls for a funeral, if you ask me.
Устроить похороны.
Aye. Feels deserved, don't you think? Falling in the line of duty like that and all? Why odd? Our things are a part of our life world. They're made with our human sweat and they share human history. We should care about them as we care about humans. To some extent, at least.
Life world. Someone's been reading up on last century Gotvaldian philosophers. Play
Она не
cool now.
популярна особо. Видите ли, много читать, блядь. Где экшен? О, свой человек зашел на стрим, ёшкин кот. Где экшон, где стрелять, кого мочить. Мне наоборот такие сюжетные новеллы, сюжетно разделенные больше нравятся. Ну да, я согласен. Мне прям вообще зашло. Но у меня был большой скепсис по этому поводу. Прям вот очень сильно я сомневался, что она мне зайдет, потому что здесь, в принципе, здесь есть некая такая линия внушения, что ли, я не знаю, как это сказать, короче, типа пропаганда, короче, здесь есть, на мой взгляд, на мой личный взгляд. Вот, и вот это именно сторона, ну, это именно смысл этой пропаганды мне не нравится, скажем так. То есть у меня некие другие взгляды, как бы, да, вот, и мне не, вот это вот не нравится, вот это навязчивое, вот это вот вязкое, вдалбливающее тебе в голову какие-то там некие там идеи, да, там пропаганда. Мне это не нравится. Вот. Большой был скепсис. Долго я откладывал на эту игру. То есть изначально я ее вообще не хотел проходить. То есть изначально. Но мне нравится принцип РПГ, вот этот текст, выборы, там, читать, там, диалоги. Мне это все очень нравится. Я вот, например, буду проходить Pathfinder Гнев Праведных, вот, который выйдет 3 сентября 2021 года. Ну, там, получается, через 2 месяца, даже уже меньше осталось. 1,5. Вот. И там тоже, ну, тонна текста, все эти выборы, решения, там, судьбоносные, там, какие-то там еще вот эти вот вещи. Мне это все заходит, вот. Но во время старта этой игры я вообще решил, что... Ну, когда она вышла, да? Я решил, что я ее не буду проходить. Вот. Потому что я уже был наслышан заранее, что в ней есть определенная пропаганда, которая мне совершенно не нравится, короче. А тут она вышла, по-моему, в 2019 году. Вот. А тут я услышал, вот буквально, наверное, в январе, что ли, или феврале, что будет Director's Cut, ну, то есть, типа, финальное издание, там улучшены там диалоги, звуки, там что-то еще там доработано, короче, даже озвучка будет. То есть, раньше, по-моему, здесь озвучки не было, но это не точно, я не знаю, я ни обзоров не смотрел, ни видео, ни прохождения, ничего. Я не знаю, что там было, короче, но, насколько я понял, что... вот, я вспомнил, перевода на русский не было, точно. Озвучка-то была английская, а перевода русского не было, текста. Вот, и перевод выпустили в феврале, короче, этого года. И я такой, бля, ну, с таким-то подходом, это как бы была еще одна сторона медали, почему я не хотел еще эту игру проходить, потому что она была на английском. Ну, то есть, ну как, я типа русскоговорящий, да, там, и, ну, английский, ну как, да, вот как. То есть, я кое-что, конечно, знаю в английском, но не настолько, чтобы игры в оригинале проходить. Естественно, там далеко не настолько. Вот. И для меня как бы и пропаганда, и то, что перевода нету, сложилось воедино, что я 100% ее не буду проходить, потому что, ну, нахера это надо. Вот. А потом, короче, я слышу, что готовится русский перевод этой игры. Я такой, угу. Потом он, короче, релизится. В феврале, по-моему, у него был релиз. Вот. А потом я слышу, что через 2 месяца после того, как выходит русский перевод, я читаю очередную новость, что через 2 месяца будет Final Cut, ну, так, Director's Cut, короче, то есть финальное издание, там баги исправлены, какие-то там дополнения, там, и так далее, короче, блядь. И я такой, опачки, а вот это, блядь, еще аргумент, который выправил ситуацию, как бы, да, то есть русский перевод, финальное издание, там, сюда доработанная версия, короче, все. Я такой, бля, а вот теперь можно попробовать, короче. Ну, я ее поставил в тот же день, когда она вышла. Вот, официально, то есть там 30 марта, по-моему, это было. И вот она у меня лежала, короче, получается, апрель, май и июнь. Вот, апрель, май, июнь, и где-то, может, неделю назад, но я не помню, ну, сколько там дней, там, 5, 6, 7 дней, не знаю. А я ее, как бы, начал проходить на стримах, вот. Короче, получается, вот она у меня 3 месяца тоже лежала, и теперь я ее, наконец-таки, прохожу, и я прям втянулся. Мне прям зашло. Но, опять же таки, да, здесь есть та самая пропаганда, о которой я говорил, да, она прям очень сильно бесит. Но это, наверное, пожалуй, единственный минус этой игры пока что. Это вот эта вот пропаганда, короче, повестка. Вот это. Вот, в остальном все прям интересно, прикольно, вот, занимательно. Вот, но не весело, потому что игрушка пропитана какой-то энтропией, я хуй его знает, короче, депрессией какой-то, блядь, горечью, я хуй его знает, короче, ну, жопа, пиздец вокруг, ну, в общем, вот в таком плане. И не то, чтобы я там до прохождения был в эйфории какой-то, типа, у меня там какое-то настроение супер офигенное было, да, там, типа, я себя прям пиздато чувствовал в этом плане, ну, типа, просто в норме был, да, вот, но после начала этой игры, там, окунания в нее, я прям начал скатываться, короче, прям в такую, в депрессуху, короче, блядь, вот. Ну ладно, давай дальше проходить.
Oh, yeah. You won't even be able to get it out of the water before early June. And where are you going to bury it? Who to invite? What music to play at the wake? Take it from someone who's been through a few funerals. It's easiest to just leave them there and let nature take care of it.
That's
Вот и
all
я
we have
тоже.
time for right now anyway. Come back here in June and see how you feel about it then. It's
Вернётесь
not
в
like
июне,
it's
решите, что
going
делать.
anywhere.
Она никуда не денется. Да-да. Не без пропаганды, конечно, но вроде есть выбор, должен быть. Смотри, у меня сложилось впечатление по этому поводу вот такое, следующее. Тебе поначалу дают иллюзию выбора, вот прямо вот поначалу, допустим, вот поднимается некий вопрос какой-то. У тебя там, допустим, там, ну, грубо говоря, там 4, там 5, 3, да, там по-разному, там, вариант ответа. Вот, ты выбираешь, вроде бы тебе дают выбор, да? Ты выбираешь нужный тебе ответ, как бы, а дальше тебя авторы, если ты выбрал, по их мнению, неправильный выбор, они начинают тебя стебать, короче. Причем там, знаешь, там, ну, как бы, типа, они начинают тебя там, ну, не то чтобы слово, может быть, унижать, может быть, не подходит, ну, что-то типа того. Они начинают тебя хуесосить, короче, за это. То есть, и твой выбор, индивидуальный выбор, превращается в то, что над тобой начинают издеваться, короче, понимаешь? Тебя начинают как бы опускать, понимаешь, вот из-за этого выбора. Вот, а отвертеться как-то выправить ситуацию, что-то там, игра тебе никаких вариантов не предоставляет. То есть это абсолютно иллюзия выбора. То есть ты как бы свою идею выдвинул, а тебя дальше обоссали, короче, понимаешь? Вот, и вот так вот буквально вот все вот эти вот выборы, которые тебе вот эти вот там, ну, какие-то политические, там вот эти вот, вся игра просто, ну, обассывает, короче, блядь. То есть, а говоря слово игра тебя обассывает, то есть, соответственно, авторы, кто задумал эту игру, понимаешь, в чем причина. И получается здесь только одна линия поведения верная, та, которая по задумке разработчиков правильная, то есть коммунистическая, короче, да, вот левая, так сказать, все. Другой вариант не подходит, короче, как бы, ну, нет у тебя возможности как-то повернуть ситуацию в свою сторону, короче, нету просто, понимаешь? Ты оплеванный, обоссанный какой-то, блядь, выходишь оттуда, над тобой там смеются, там, знаешь, все такое прочее, короче. Вот это вот раздражает. Здесь нет выбора. Вот, здесь есть только повестка. Иллюзия выбора. Ну да, она как бы, это понятно, что иллюзия выбора, она, в принципе, во всех играх практически, да, там, ну там есть какие-то решения там в свою пользу. Здесь же тебя просто отсекают на корню просто, понимаешь? То есть тебе задают как бы вот несколько направлений, и когда ты выбираешь направление, ты оказываешься по горло, там, ну, по макушку в говне, короче, из-за этого. Потому что у автора другая позиция просто по этому вопросу, понимаешь? Вот. Такая вот херня. Но если ты пойдешь по коммунистической ветке, такого не будет. Скажем так. Потому что эта игра сделана явно приверженцами там Карла Маркса какого-нибудь, там, ебать, там, или там еще кого-то. Ну вот, короче, коммунисты, короче, одним словом. У нас все равно, если честно, больше так.
Yes, that is a pity. But for now, let's focus on the things we do get to do. Like the murder investigation, for example.
Oh? Well, how can I assist you then, officer? Unfortunately, the factory sold this one with it's a regular mass-produced sword, like a shovel or an axe. From time to time, people need a lesson. Some went to patch their wounds, their lesson learned. Guess.
If it is,
Gone. to the waves. Who knows?
Ну, это я уже
Now, before you
полистываю.
tell me how sorry you are, us working life didn't.
This is. She looks like she's ready to go on a date with another, better, drunk. Ask her. Both of you could need some action.
Из-за присутствия Кима. Где здесь моя, как это сказать, ну, мысля, куда она делась? О, алкаши.
Hey, tequila! Good to see you. How's business? How's the whole reality situation treating you? So what's happening? Yeah, Tequila Sunset. How are the,
He says it like it's obviously your name. Like you call someone Billy Brunel or leader of the 4th Street gang.
That's harsh. I'm like 3 or maybe 4 years into mine. Wait, no. Make it 5. Things aren't going super well for Idiot Doom Spiral either. Haven't found those keys yet, haven't won that great...
This guy's your buddy. You feel it immediately. You belong to an organization, a fraternity of drunks. Idiot Doom Spiral, huh? This is bound to be a good, high-concept conversation.
We are saving the world. Please! Please don't go! Don't go! Okay, we're drinking. We're drinking alcohol. That's what we're doing. I tried to save the world once, so now it's a pirate's life for me. It's you. You're Tequila. We've met before. Don't you remember?
No, you sure don't.
Aha. Do you want to know how Tequila... Let me take a sip to moisten up my chords. Tequila Sunset rolled into Martinez last Friday. And by Tequila Sunset, I mean you. The man, the myth. Hey, let's not jump ahead of ourselves. This is your story. Stop interrupting. You got here on Friday to solve a case, hoping to be the early bird who gets the worm. And by the worm, I mean the buzz. Because as far as I know, all you did was get piss drunk. Word on the street is you went around the local hostel telling people that you're a police officer. And that it would be really fucked up if you shot yourself in the head, right in front of them. That's pretty high concept.
It is.
Кстати, единственный, кто стримит эту игру на Ютубе сейчас, по крайней мере. Ну, как тебе сказать, я это связываю с тем, что, во-первых, с релиза Final Cut прошло 3 месяца. Вот, и я как бы типа запоздал. Да, объективно, то есть внутри месяца. Изначально я хотел ее стримить по... Ну, как только она выйдет, я ее поставлю, прям в тот же день и буду стримить. Но не получилось, потому что у меня было другое настроение, были другие дела. В общем, не сложилось, к сожалению. Вот, но там еще был момент, что она была несколько забагована почему-то, я не знаю. И патчи, которые разработчики делали для этой игры, они почему-то выходили для консолей, но не для ПК. То есть, например, смотри, буквально на следующий или через день после релиза выходит первый патч на эту игру. Он выходит на консоли, на ПК его нету. Я читаю об этом новость, и я такой, ну спасибо, блядь, как всегда вы на ПК хуй забили, уроды, короче. Вот, спасибо вам, блядь. Вот так вот покупаю у вас игры на ПК, ёптать. Вот, если вы хуй забиваете на них. Типа... Потом слышу, что, ага, разработчики знают о многих проблемах этой игры. Вот, и какой-то там большой патч будет на следующей неделе, короче. Я такой, опа. Думаю, проблемы, а нахер мне проблемы? Ну, типа, я буду играть и встречу какой-нибудь баг, дальше не смогу пройти, там, и так далее, да? Вот. Я такой думаю, все, ждем патча. Может быть, они выпустят его и на ПК одновременно. Проходит неделя. Патч выходит, он выходит на консолях. Опять, на ПК опять болт положили. Одним словом. Вот. Потом был какой-то третий микропатч какой-то там тоже, что-то там они исправили, вроде как, он тоже на консолях выходит. Вот, в общем, я понимаю, там прошло 2 недели, вышло 3 патча, на ПК не выходит ничего из этих патчей. Я такой, ну, блядь, ну ладно, я как бы и так не особо хотел в нее сейчас играть, потому что у меня другие дела, как бы, типа, да. Я такой, окей. А потом в итоге получается так, что эти патчи, они вышли там чуть ли не в мае, короче, я не знаю, там через месяц или что-то типа того, короче. Вот, по-моему, что-то типа 3 мая, что ли, они вышли, я вот что-то не помню, ну, примерно так. В общем, то есть больше, чем через месяц после того, как она вышла, а вышла она 30 марта. Вот. Ну, я такой, ну ладно. А потом у меня начались опять другие дела, то есть вот этот месяц прошел, у меня опять там значит, 8 числа Resident Evil у меня был, 18 числа у меня был Days Gone, получается. Вот. И мне уже просто не до этой игры абсолютно. Просто, ну, тупо не до этой игры. Потому что я очень сильно ждал Резидента и очень сильно ждал Days Gone. Вот эти 2 игры, я их прям вот просто очень ждал. Вот. Ну, естественно, я эту игру еще дальше отложил, короче, получается. Вот. И вот так вот одна какая-то, ну, одно обстоятельство накладывается на другое, другое на третье, короче, и в итоге, короче, все, это отложилось вот до июля аж. Понимаешь? Вот поэтому, собственно говоря, я и один, наверное, и стримлю, потому что кому надо было, те уже вообще, во-первых, они ее прошли еще в 2019 году, а те немногие, кто ее не проходил, но все-таки имел какое-то маленькое желание пройти ее сейчас, в этом году прошли ее, скорее всего, там в первых числах апреля, короче, там в первые там пару недель, короче, а я, видишь, 3 месяца, ну, ждал этого момента. Ну, собственно, поэтому, наверное, я и один стримлю, короче, вот такой вот разбор полетов. Да, ПК выходит из мода. Наоборот. Как бы это ни звучало странно после этого примера, наоборот. Сейчас ПК на подъеме, ну, как бы, исключая тот момент, что видеокарты недоступны обычным пролетариям, так сказать, да, там, обычным простым геймерам. Ну, да, без лишней монеты в кармане, скажем так. Вот, несмотря на... Если бы вот была ситуация, как в 2019 году, да даже в 2020 году, до осени, да, когда вот пошел криптобум, вот этот вот, все было бы нормально, и рынок ПК растет, денег на ПК рынке все больше и больше, продажи тоже больше и больше, и сейчас между консолями и ПК плюс-минус паритет, короче, то есть они примерно одинаково приносят прибыли. Почему? Потому что, смотри, вот возьмем даже то же самое Sony, да, она будет сейчас выпускать свои бывшие, ну, как бы эксклюзивы, да, свои там платформы PlayStation 4 на ПК. То есть первая ласточка это была Days Gone, это был, нет, вру, Horizon Zero Dawn, короче, вот, в августе 2020 вышло, вот, получается, почти год назад. Это был первый эксклюзив Sony, который вышел на ПК, потом сейчас Days Gone в мае вышел. Потом уже официально уже анонсировали, что Uncharted 4 Thief's End, короче, выходит на ПК. Скорее всего, это будет в следующем году. Когда пока что даты точно нету, но уже официально они об этом сообщили, что 4-й Uncharted будет на ПК уже выйдет. Вот. Там, ну, все такое прочее. И уже дальше по политике они уже сказали, что да, мы будем выпускать свои эксклюзивы через какое-то время после релиза на своей консоли, короче, то есть, понятно? То есть, это ли не супер сильный сигнал и аргумент в пользу того, что ПК не сосет хуй, как бы, да, то есть, и то, что он не выходит из мода, наоборот, набирает обороты. По-моему, это, как Sony обратила внимание на это, то, что на ПК можно заработать. Это, супер комплимент, я считаю, в этом плане. Какой-то охренительно сильный. То есть кивок в нашу сторону. Поэтому нет, я с тобой вообще не согласен. ПК не выходит из мода, он наоборот набирает обороты. Если бы не вот эта вот ебучая криптовалютная лихорадка, которая отбросила назад, застагнировала индустрию, то есть что я имею в виду? Рынок должен насыщаться постепенно новыми продуктами, новыми более мощными видеокартами, да, с более новыми какими-то технологиями, да, вот, что позволяет в свою очередь разработчикам использовать новые дополнительные ресурсы, чтобы делать игры красивее, да, там как-то, то есть прогрессировать, да, в плане игр. А то, что видеокарты никому не доступны, да, там, мы не берем в расчет, там, грубо говоря, 1% пользователей, да, там, грубо говоря, там даже 0,5%, не знаю, но это реально единицам, очень зажиточным, очень состоятельным чувакам, вот, как сказать, вот они могут, например, купить там 3070, она сейчас стоит 120, что ли, тысяч или 130, что-то такое, короче. А ее нормальная цена это 55 тысяч, понимаешь? Она стоит 120, например, да, больше, чем в 2 раза, чем она должна стоить. Кто ее в здравом уме купит, кроме человека, который просто деньги не считает, понимаешь? Ему похуй, вот она стоит 155, я ее куплю. Или она стоит там 130, я ее куплю. Ему между этими суммами, ему это до пизды, он не считает никакие деньги, короче, он просто берет и покупает, если ему это нужно. Понимаешь? Мы таких людей не берем в расчет, потому что, я не думаю, что их прям какое-то прям супер большое количество, какое-то там весомое, короче. Их там, проценты, не знаю, там сколько там, 2%, я не знаю. Вот, поэтому рынок стагнирует. Я как сидел на своей в 2019 году, в феврале я ее купил, да, прям на старте продаж, RTX 2060, короче, так я и сейчас сижу, блядь, июль 21 года, уже 2,5 года прошло, понимаешь? Как бы получается. Вот, а рынок должен наполниться такими видеокартами новыми, свежими, по рекомендуемой цене, понимаешь? Вот, но этого нету, и я думаю, что рекомендуемых цен мы не увидим как минимум до следующего года. Может быть, где-то в декабре, может быть, где-то вот так вот еще можно будет что-то посмотреть. Одним словом, хэ его знает, короче. Пока что это неподъемные деньги, короче. Понятно, я даже не задумывался так. Я просто слежу за игровой индустрией, и у меня много аргументов, я много чего знаю, я этим увлекаюсь, это мое самое большое хобби, как бы, и я в этом действительно шарю. То есть я не буду как-то выебываться или там что-то, говорить там фигню какую-то. То есть я по факту говорю, я в этом действительно соображаю. Вот. У меня просто подписчиков нету, чтобы нести просвещение в массы, понимаешь? Я поздно начал, понимаешь? Я поздно начал заниматься этим делом. Нужно было заниматься где-то хотя бы в 2014 году начать, и я думаю, в принципе, я бы свою аудиторию какую-то, наверное, бы нашел. Я не говорю там о каких-то там сотнях тысяч, тем более миллионов. Нет, миллионником я бы, наверное, не стал бы никогда, скорее всего. Это супер какой-то, нужно было там, какие-то там звезды должны выстроиться в ряд, там, не знаю, по всей вселенной. Вот, но я думаю, там, десятки тысяч подписчиков у меня, может быть, и были бы. Вот, о сотнях я тоже как бы не особо как бы буду заикаться. Что-то бы нашел бы, короче, потому что я действительно, я геймер, блядь, я не какой-нибудь там маркетолог или там пиарщик, там, или там шкура продажная, там, или типа того, да, там, который будет. Нет, я именно геймер, мне это нравится, как бы я этим живу. Вот, в смысле, то есть это мое главное увлечение, короче, вот. Такие дела. Ладно, давай дальше в игру погрузимся обратно. Время разговора про Реал закончилось. Так, именно.
The lieutenant's brow is furrowed. He's listening as casually as he can.
It was a late Saturday night when we, the Union of Moribund Alcoholics, were getting our drink on. Nothing remarkable about this, we get our drink on 24/7. One moment we hear the sound of a motor carriage revving up somewhere on the plaza. followed by a...
Do you remember the sound of wood cracking?
Naturally, loud noises pique the interest of anybody owning a pair of ears. That's just the reality we're in. Anyway, there was a brief silence, a gasp of silence, if you will, followed by a real commotion. We heard the carriage careening towards the coast at top speed. Sounded like someone jumped the canal. We grabbed our brewskis and rushed to the jetty. Never underestimate the speed of what we saw was a sight to behold. A beat-up police carriage containing you. Right, the time! So, naturally, being the curious cat I am, I asked, the time hath come for tequila sunset, the end of all things! Your reality contracted. You jammed the pedal, plowed right off the jet.
The muscles in your right leg tense up.
We ran towards the ice whilst you crawled your way out, miraculously unhurt, covered in seaweed and shit. When we finally got there, you were sitting on the beach crying. You said that your badge and uniform were in the car. It was...
In this way, you and your motor carriage have a...
Recognizing a brother in need, we offered our condolences and invited you to party with us, which you naturally agreed. We asked about the whole tequila sunset thing, and you told us it was your name now and insisted that we all call you that from then on. I'm not sure. I think you were the event. Tequila sunset. You know, as opposed to a tequila sunrise, which is... No, that's just what your mother called you. Your real name is Hours. It was an all-night drink-a-thon. Then, at some point, I think it was Sunday morning, you got belligerent and wanted to talk about Revacholian women. How they're beautiful and also whores and so on. How one of them fucked
Да,
real
кстати. Вот это вот,
After a short while, you crossed the event horizon.
вот это
looked
про Россию
sullen,
очень
got
хорошо,
up
вот
and
это вот.
left without saying anything.
Ну, естественно, в моем представлении, да, вот это вот говорится, да, вот этот текст. Что я имею в виду, сейчас объясню. Типа, какие они красивые, и в то же время, какие они все шлюхи и тому подобное. Ну, типа, вот, ну, реально, вот чисто мои мысли. Вот, ну, бабы у нас, по крайней мере, у меня в городе, ну, довольно красивые, скажем так, да. Вот, и при этом, какие же они шлюхи, блядь, это пиздец. Вот, это чистая правда. Как одна из них тебя просто раздавила. Вскоре ты пересек горизонт событий, мрачнел, встал и ушел, не говоря ни слова.
Wow,
Да, вот
that's
эта
quite a
история.
story.
Да, действительно.
Yeah, I bet tequila's a fucking legend around the precinct.
If you only knew.
Если бы вы только знали. Так, я рассказывал что-нибудь конкретное о той особе, которая меня раздавила.
You were pretty vague about it, but you kept saying you got fucked real hard, and that we've all been fucked too.
Ну, все правильно, да, чуваки, да, это так и есть. Такова уж, ну, такова природа баб, короче, чё тут скажешь.
No one's fucked me.
Some
I do the
cool
fucking
shit.
around here.
Abigail!
Абигейл, вот страдалец еще, блядь, ёпт.
It seemed pretty painful, to be honest with you. If I had to guess, I'd say you're still working through some shit. Beside your gun and your badge, you said something about your hope or heart or something. To be honest, the details are a little hazy. In retrospect, I guess you lost your motor carriage too? That's a big one. You told us that they were a bunch of fucking losers whose main interest was cramping your style. No specifics, though. It was more about you that night. You were the star of the show. Yeah, you said it was no biggie and that you'd solve it in no time. And that you didn't need anyone to do it. You're doing it solo now.
A lot of cops go solo and hermit once they reach that level of alcoholism.
Yeah, you seemed really mad about immigrants for some reason. I'd rather not get into the details. It was pretty low concept. You kept apologizing for being such a bad cop, and for the damage you inflict. You also kept pausing to knock the heel of your hand against your temples, saying, "Stupid, stupid, stupid." It's a hard thing for a man to confront his past. That's why I avoid mine at all costs. Whoop-de-doo. So now I'm a fucking storyteller. Right. Why not? Better than a beach bum. It depends, really. Are you willing to help me?
You might get scammed here.
No, the reality of the situation requires a rather modest contribution. A little motivation. Booze! Did you already forget our party? The thing I relayed to you earlier. So, have you got anything for good old idiot Doom Spiral? A bottle for a story. Seems fair to me. Classy.
Hey, Spiral Boy, you gonna share that?
Don't call Abigail!
Shut up, guys. I'm telling a story here. Something happened to you. Something happened to me, too. I was once a reasonably high net worth individual. A founder / junior partner at a high concept creative services agency. When my story begins, I had just landed a major contract with an insurance firm. I used the profits from my agency to finance what I called a cultural incubator. Abstract value generation, value per person, high concept stuff. I developed the paradigm, worked within the paradigm, but the burden of leadership weighed heavily on me. 22 full-time employees, an all-star team, a potentially historical set of individuals. It did, with my trusty Sansariq tracksuit, but now dreams are worn thin, much like my tracksuit. One day I left on my evening run. As you may know, it's impossible to clear your head when you're distracted by the sound of keys jangling in your pockets.
His eyes are clouded. His dilated blood vessels encircling his eyes are your eyes.
So I removed the key ring and put the keys for the front gate and the apartment into different pockets to stop the jangling, you see. I was halfway done with my usual lap when it started to rain. The reality situation became very wet, okay? It was raining really hard. I made my way back home and discovered that I didn't have the key to the front gate. I'd mixed it up with the key to the letterbox. Naturally, the situation required me to climb over the gate, which I did. There was no climbing down because I slipped and landed on my ass. Ouch, indeed. Reality was looking rather grim just then. Me lying on my ass in a mud pit in the middle of a heavy shower, So I made my way across the yard. Standing in front of my apartment door, fumbling with my pockets, I realized that I'd also... I wish I were, Tequila. I wish I were. Instead of my apartment key, I'd taken the key. I rang my neighbor's buzzers. It was late, and most of them didn't even answer. Those who did assumed I... People are naturally wary of ad men, you see. One moment someone chats you up, 5 minutes later you've bought a box of edible lingerie and a strap-on. I don't begrudge them, especially since I was known to be one of the best. Just then, I experienced a moment of clarity. I still had the key to my office. But when I reached my office, I remembered that I'd asked one of my producers to change the locks that day. And since I hired only... Anyway, long story short, life spiraled out of control. I haven't gotten into my apartment for years, and my girlfriend left me because she didn't want to date a homeless man. The company, well, you see where I'm going. So, now you've
Короче,
heard my
пиздоболом.
tragic tale.
Пиздобол.
What do you think? Like nothing you've ever heard, huh?
Пиздобол.
Me neither, Tequila. When I lost my keys, I lost more than access to my apartment. I also lost my leverage over humanity. I wasn't a high... You can't imagine what that does to a man's confidence. Anyway, that was all the story one bottle gets you. Almost empty, this one. Good fucking question, Tequila. If I knew the answer, you think I'd be hanging out on a beach in this formerly premium but now extremely dirty two-piece lycra tracksuit? I used to own my reality situation. My business buddies and I had our own creative services agent. Now I can't hang on to anything. Just last week I stole this nice new jacket, but then I lost it.
A lost jacket? Sounds like a mystery you could look into.
My agency, man. The Boom Boom Room. Our concept was combining high art with the lowest forms of marketing. I convinced my partners to reinvest some of our profits in an even more high-concept cultural incubator called Thin Air. The artists were happy, the clients... I was financing a group of poets in East Revachol who were developing a new universal poetic language. But then it all...
Sounds intriguing. What say if it sounds like it makes no sense? That's because it doesn't.
Well, you know, sex sells. That's the first rule of advertising. Maybe you're right. Who knows? Maybe we were behind the curve? We were fucking rich, though, that much I know. What? You've never seen 100% Lycra before?
You really shouldn't touch it.
Pretty nice, huh? This might be one of the last of its kind. Should probably be in a museum.
Good God. It's nearly
Блядь.
impossible to describe how dirty this texture is. It's like rubbing
Пиздец.
two jellyfish skins together. You feel about 15% less human for having touched it.
Пиздец, зашквар.
Randomized trials have also found Lycra, TM, to be associated with a number of exotic, highly malignant cancers, so you also have that to look forward to. And then there's the smell, but you don't even...
Wow, you're lucky. He never lets me feel it.
That's because your paws are fucking filthy, Rosie. We're right next to the bay. You could wash them anytime. Tequila, it's a verifiable tragedy. It was practically brand new. Sure, it didn't really go with my Lycra threads, but it did itch a lot less. Say, you're a detective, right? Maybe you can help old Doom Spiral out. Solve the case of the missing jacket. What do you say, Tequila? Nah, this isn't it. Found? That's medium concept stuff. Totally not my style. It's a big world out there, Tequila. Lot of lost jackets in it.
Hey, Doom Spiral. Ain't that the jacket you stole the other week?
Not on your fucking life, Rosemary. What's wrong with you people? Like I'd be caught dead wearing found, like some low... Tell you what, Tequila. Why don't you just hang on to that one? I'll get another jacket. Someday.
At least you got a nice jacket for your troubles.
I do. But as you can see, my fuel tank is running quite low. If you catch my drift. Not much, but it will do. The tale I'm about to tell you is an urban legend particular to Martinez. That said, I first heard it from a former There are many variations on the basic story, and the details often conflict.
Are you telling the story of the headless...
Shut the fuck up, Rosemary. Summer of 44. 17-year-old Gertrude Het is... Our heroine finds herself enjoying the peace and quiet the canal provides. What she doesn't know is that her peace is about to be shattered. From behind her comes the clattering of hooves. Startled, she turns around, and what does she see? Well, yes, but it's the man on the horse that's of interest here.
The pause.
With no head on his shoulders. Wearing a found tracksuit, searching for the legendary found cap that went missing when he lost his head.
I thought that he rode a headless pig.
Well, there are many versions of this story. The most peculiar of which has the headless found rider riding on the back of another headless man. If I hadn't lost my keys that one time, I'd agree with you. But, like Gertrude Het may have been the first to witness the headless found rider.
Tell him about the two feminists by the lock.
Fuck, Rosemary, they were dating. No one said they were feminists. Everyone always misremembering this stuff.
This wouldn't be the De Ponte Delgado case, would it?
What? You know it?
I've read the case file. But please, go on.
Right. Early autumn of 46. The wind picks up. A sky already dark now blackens. Water starts falling from above. The women are caught in the downpour. They act quickly. Eva gathers the rods whilst Ulla turns around to reach for the tackle block. When she sees something, Her shriek is so violent that the residents of the nearby apartment... But there is no lightning. Only a heavy downpour and the silhouette of the headless Faun Rider looming on the horizon. Ula makes a run for the shore, but Eva slips on a wet rock. Her body is never recovered.
Naturally, Ula De Ponte became the prime suspect in the disappearance of Eva Delgado. De Ponte maintained that it was the so-called headless Faun Rider and that she ran, fearing for... During the investigation, it became apparent that there was a love triangle, the third party being some small-time businessman. I don't remember the exact details. The leading theory was that an argument broke out on the jetty and De Ponte pushed Delgado into the canal, then cooked her. No, she committed suicide before she could be taken into custody. They found her in the bathroom with a rifle. Not a pretty scene.
Man, that's some grisly detail. Oh well. Here, anyway, that's the story of the headless Faun Rider. Pretty crazy, huh? Well, Tequila, that's part of the legend. No one knows for sure. Some say he was an undercover cop who blew his cover and got beheaded by the vicious gang he had infiltrated. Now, others claim he was a professional jockey who veered off course during a steeplechase, ended up in somebody's backyard, and got... Personally, I think he was just some guy who hanged himself from a really tall tree, and the fall... Coincidentally, at that exact moment, a horse happened to pass under him, and his beheaded corpse mounted it, where it remains to this day. But
For some reason, this does strike you as the most plausible theory of them all.
that would explain the tracksuit and his need for revenge. Anyway, to each his own. You want to hear any other stories?
Hard to argue with that, I suppose.
That's the reality situation for you. You think you got a handle on it, then blam! It throws some wild shit at you. That's why it's critical to stay well hydrated. Yeah? Why don't you go eat shit, Tequila? There's no way you know a better one than that. Damn right it doesn't. So why don't you just shut up and leave it to the master? No one knows. Some say he stalks Martinez to this day, and can be seen near the canal when the clock strikes midnight. Ooh.
He won't, though, because it's just a stupid legend.
Aye, I saw him one night when I was right shit-faced.
I actually do have one. The strangest of them all. But I'll need to fortify my... Do you have anything to fortify old Doom Spiral? Tell me you got some story juice. If you find any, I'd be extremely grateful. You too, Tequilas.
Okay, let's step aside for a second. I have something I want.
Advanced race theory. Everything is calm in the eye of the race storm. Your mind is lucid and bright. The mind-bending phylogenetics appear more distant and, to be fair, a little ridiculous. The great race mystery has cleared up. All that's left to do is verbalize your thoughts. Go and talk to Measurehead about your newly found insights.
А, я понял, это временная херня, короче, понятно? То есть то, что у тебя, когда ты ее выбираешь, обдумываешь, у тебя временно идут минусы, короче, к этой, ну, наверное, да? Хотя нет, драма 8 все равно. Концептуализация. То есть, что я хотел сказать-то этим? То есть, типа, помните, вот здесь вот у меня было -1 к драме, вот здесь вот. А теперь, когда она у меня выучилась, теперь у меня здесь вот, риторика, лимит улучшения повышается до 5. Вот смотрим, где она там, риторика, вот она, да? И потом еще +1 концептуализация, вот. А была 5, так же как визуальный анализ и концептуализация у меня были по 5 до этого, а теперь 6. Вот. Но драма, походу, ну как сказать, хотя, подождите. Нет, слушайте, драма 8. Смотрите. То есть у меня одни плюсы, а было минус. Вот. От мыслей. Вот она, да. Вот. Вот это интересно. Слушайте, вот это интересно. Ну давай, поговорим.
I've been meaning to have a little chat with you about your sense of style. It's just, well, you look more like a high-flying businessman than a police officer.
That's right. You're an entrepreneur of the peace, here to disrupt legacy law enforcement with buzzwords and privatization schemes.
There's nothing wrong with it per se. It's just a little much. You know the expression, the clothes make the man? The right outfit in the right situation can make all the difference in the world.
Я не буду прислушиваться к советам стилиста, который одевается как мега-задрот. Ну это да, кстати. Одет он, кстати, ну максимум так себе. Реально как задрот. Престарелый гонщик тип-топа.
Yes, and this mega binocular knows how to sew a lapel and center a back vent.
That's why his clothes fit so well.
So if you want to wake up next to anyone other than Commodore Red, you might do well to take notes. Anyway, we should probably get back to the case.
Идемте. Окей. Современная расовая теория, блядь. Опа.
A drop in temperature, an easy flow of air, an empty street. Before you, a thoroughfare unjammed with lorries. No more drivers smoking on hitch. Chemically sweetened. Across the road, a forgotten bus stop. Corrosion has opened a hole in its roof. An elm tree watches over the building. Its branches are dripping with rain and snow. The road is smooth and motley. Craters filled with a black asphalt. The asphalt, first laid, is grey already. A row of tenements are under construction. In a tub warm with water, white with soap. A man bathes while radio waves transmit the lottery numbers. 4:18. His boyfriend is on his way home. He brings tins of meat and vegetables. Their pockets are heavy, but only slightly.
Ой-ой-ой. Скоро домой придет его парень. Блять. С собой у него мясные овощные консервы. Пидоры, блять. Что это за автобусная остановка?
Number 312D. Young girls used to come here, huddled up, hoping for more warmth than their thin coats give them. The bus took them to school. It has not run for 8 years. There were not enough girls to sustain its cost. Craters pocked the surface. Children played in them until heavy trucks full of black pitch rolled in. The landowners have filled the craters with money. There's one bump on the road. A dead dog lies flat about 200 paces away, right at the turn. Tragedy comes from the wheels of a fast RCM vehicle, hurrying to work.
Трагедия случилась
The
под
cold
колесами
washes
машины
over
МГМ.
you.
Кто-то
The
пришел на
sound of
работу,
the
тебя будет
sea
холодно,
has
шум моря
grown
отдаляется. Он сбил пса, короче.
The wind moves the aerosol. A detective stands behind the boom barrier. A breeze moves a curl of...
Да. О как. О как, блять. Давайте посмотрим, где там. Проверьте ловушки. Где одна ловушка рядом с каналом, который вы пересекли к юго-востоку от деревни. Погнали.
It takes you a moment, but finally you spot the last of Morel's traps. The reeds bend forlornly toward the sand. Some tufts have been crushed. The broken stalks seem like a rebuke. The constant, distant song, louder on this part of the coast, nearer somehow. And there's that cold again. Always the cold. The trap feels light and silent as you pick it up. Something is different here. No locust. No
Ого,
phasmid
саранча.
either. But still,
Но все-таки.
your voice echoes on the coast, carried by a gust of cold wind.
Well, the bait worked on something. This doesn't mean it was a reed monster, though. Unless you see one in there. I just see an empty trap.
The netting is a little untidy, messier than the others. Like someone or something picked up the trap and shook it before dropping it back down on the ground.
Perhaps our cryptozoologists have competition in the form of an actual entomologist, or someone else is sabotaging them. I could present more theories, but then I would be taking this on as a case, which I'm not. Right. Anyway, that's for the cryptozoologists to figure out now. We're not cryptozoologists. We're cops.
Ладно, дальше. Ай, камон, давайте сбегаем.
The young man with the tape recorder acknowledges your return. When he looks at you, he squints as though you were the setting sun.
This is hardcore. Hardcore! Yeah!
This young man adds a capital G before the H in his yegs and args. This produces a guttural Gutvaldian accent. Or maybe it's not Gutvaldian. Maybe it's Oranese. Probably an homage to Oranje, where Arno van Eyck.
You know about him? You know Van Eyck? Wow!
The skinny wraith looks at you with some disbelief.
So am I! So am I! Oh! Is that why they call you Egghead? Because... Egghead to the Mega! The K became the G! The boy became the man! The Advent?
Ну что, я не завершил, что ли?
Back to the heavyweight jam! Hardcore! It's hardcore! Skibber-D, skibber-danger. Vikla, true, hard, full, car, hardcore! Hardcore to the mega! Internally coherent. Good morning, yeah! 1, 2, 3, Yeko Qatar, the place to be! Yeko Qatar is a hard...
An intricate system of irrigation networks pockmarking the earth. Intermittent seas of phosphorus mud, ripped tarpaulin fluttering in the wind. A pair of molten rubber boots also comes to mind.
We're close. True, hard, foot, hardcore. Hardcore is internally coherent. All car, all right, yeah. Gotta get the people going. I'm the party boy. It's my job. Hardcore party 25/7 beyond the winter's orbit star.
There is a place far away in Cutler, beyond a certain latitude, known as Winter's Orbit, where there are 25 hours in a day. It is a tremendously cold place, abandoned to drunks and failed.
We're close. True, hardcore is internally coherent. All car, all right.
He furrows his brow as his very large head traces the sublime invisible movement of the music.
Hardcore! Ah! Is it though? One mind, one spirit. There's no other world. There's no other life. We're close. True. Hardcore. Internally. All car. All right.
He furrows his brow.
Hardcore. Ah. The question is, what is the question? But there was a question.
Дебилизм какой-то, блядь.
We're close. True. It's hardcore. Skibber-D, skibber.
Скипади.
We're close. True. Hardcore. Internally. All car.
He furrows.
Hardcore. The question is, what is the question? But there was no question.
Блядь.
So you had a talk with Andre, and now you want to discuss things with Lloyd. Good. It's good you talked to Andre first. Gave me time to get a reading on your sign. Can't really talk to people before you get a reading. See if we can align. I suck at socialising, man. Even now, our sign synchronisation is way off. But I'll see what I can do. A sticker? You mean the yellow one? Can you describe it to me?
Interesting. He wants you to describe it, though he already knows what it looks like.
Good, good. What did you want to know? Yes, you're the 23rd person to get it right, and I've asked 23 people. Looks like it's a dead guy smiling to the entire human race. Really? We're all the same. Same eyes, same smile. He defeated history. We are living in the age of history, and in the eyes of history, we are always the present moment, and life are the hardcore. Or maybe he's not dead. Maybe he's just really ecstatic about the beats. It should be sold, but not by us. Simplicity was brought to us by a classical soul artist. Well, hardcore is not tasteful or outwardly harmonious. It's a warning shot. This will be done. The sticker, the clothes, the music, same thing. Not alone. Many people are thinking the same thing right now. We all see the same smiling dead guy in a couple of X's and a circle. I guess one could write an entire treatise on the thing. But what for? Nah. Still strongly out of sync. Stage, you heard me. Weird stuff. Specialised. There was a data processor and some sort of long-wave machinery. Wires going into water. Gives off a spy sign. Or some fucked up Samaran science sign.
The People's Republic of Samara is a product of Revachel's sister revolution on the Grand Isola. It's known as a severely degenerated rogue state.
Nothing's wrong with it. You should definitely be researched. You can still do sick shit with it though. Most of it doesn't exist, but there's also stuff that isn't allowed to exist. Psionic powers, pale-related diseases, pretenders pretending to be human. Folk right, the hardcore aesthetic is esoteric. It's not meant to be discussed with the law at this moment.
We're closed. True. Ha! It's hardcore. Skibberdeep. Hi again. So, how are things going?
Goodbye, officer.
Жесть какая-то, если честно. Так, тут что? Давайте самообладание. Так. Дайте Гарту чучело птицы. Ну ладно, погнали отсюда.
promising race pupil returns. And everyone can see that. It has little to do with
Baby, don't be mean. Give him another chance.
anything for you, babe. Fascinating. The Revacholian degenerate shows signs of racial self-reflection. How did you accomplish this little feat? So it would seem, Ralph Rule. On one hand, this pathetic self-therapy has little to do with the great mystery of Livenark. And, of course, you will not be able to free yourself from the yoke of Rule. It is too late. It may be lethal to stop at this point. But still, if the Revacholian degenerate is capable of critical thought, he may prove a Ray's adversary yet. Was I mistaken?
Jean, baby, you did the heroic thing.
That is not possible. The game of Shahmat you play against the rule streaks is unwinnable. The days, the weeks, the months will wear you out. The Occidental haplogroup is incapable. You will not. You cannot withstand the wasteland of reality.
It's super hard, Jean. My mom couldn't do it either.
Let's go, officer. Let's go do some work.
The unpromising. The unpromising.
Ясно. Ну, хоть одно задание выполнил, и то хорошо. Гарту чуть птиц отдать. Давайте попробуем.
Hello, compatriote.
Can I help you? What is this thing?
Это воротничковый рябчик с мужских ритуалов ухаживания. Пусть служит тебе напоминанием. Остерегайся любительниц покататься на карусели хуев.
Cool. Okay. I was really hoping not to think about the cock carousel any longer because it made me feel like shit. But this is a competent piece of taxidermy.
Круто, ага, ну смотри, птица, я очень хотел больше не думать о карусели хуев, потому что мне от этого хреново. Но чучело вполне приличное. Ну, кстати, да, блядь, когда начинаешь о карусели хуев думать, реально плохо становится, блядь.
I can fix it to the plaque and have a new bird in the establishment, I guess. So, I don't know. Thank you. I'm gonna go with thank
Прикрепить
you.
ее к плашке, и у меня будет новая птица заведения.
I feel good about our work here today. It's all about the little things, like bringing people.
It's not actually about that, but he liked it.
Суть вообще-то не в этом.
Got the 20 real? Then why are you wasting my...
Ага, блядь, я думал, он хотя бы будет тебе скидку давать, там, 5 или там 10 реалов за ночь, за то, что ты ему там принес эту хуйню, блядь, но нет. Нихуя, блядь, он не делает. Активный инвентарь. Ну, давай. О, отлично, отлично. Давай. То, что... Да, то, что надо, твое место здесь. Ну, как мне это все запиздячить? Где там предметы? О, вот это.
The porter reel is just what you needed. The reel's attached to the apparatus with a satisfying click. The tape is routed behind the magnetic reader. You press the large button marked Commencer, and the tape starts spinning. There's a small delay before the song starts playing. It sounds like someone's moving in the room, getting comfortable. Then the organ starts playing, a simple, melancholic, telling you about the tiniest church in Cessons, surrounded by even tinier yard. You almost, within seconds you know, this is the one, the real shit you've been looking for. The one you trust your room to that class, a click, then silence for a bit.
Ладно.
Then the tape stops spinning.
Так, смогу ли я спеть это под караоке? Думаю, смогу.
Of course you could sing this. You could take sad to a whole new level with this. And you already know the lyrics since you've listened to it. Yup, they're all here. All 3 verses. And the B-side of the tape contains the instrumental version. It's like the world itself is telling you to the gods. You have to convince God to let you sing karaoke in the whirling. After you've won him over, you can express yourself. The lieutenant looks at you as you remove the tape from the...
Так, ладно, окей.
Hey, was there something you needed?
Well, well. Bringing him that new bird sure made a difference in his attitude.
Угу. А, вот для чего это надо.
No, you don't. It's not happening.
He tries not to look at you. It's dangerous to acknowledge. You need to approach this situation logically. Ask him why he has the PA system installed if you can't use it.
It's for the... It's for no one. It's a prop. I'm not letting anyone use it after the great karaoke catastrophe of 44. A lot of people got killed because some arsehole wanted to sing karaoke. Okay, yes, it's for some clients. Ha! Well, we don't have any tapes. They all got stolen.
He's lying, but whatever. You don't really need his lame tracks. The man in the vest and the violet shirt stares at the tape you've just given him. He begins to...
Fine, fine. Climb on that stage and do your thing. Just get out of my hair. I'll plug it in for you. Damn this karaoke machine.
I'm having it uninstalled, he mumbles to himself.
Поехали.
The stage is all set up for your performance. Feels silent. You can hear the pellets creak under your feet. You feel a little dizzy.
So, are you ready for your thing now? Let me know when I should turn on the karaoke carousel.
There are some people out there, but mostly a post-meridian slumber has fallen on the premise. Not super lively. It would be wiser to perform in the evening, no? But the choice is yours.
Так.
Yes, you can always do it in the evening. It will be less scary with a lot of people. Immediately, a loud feedback noise startles the room. You feel like an amateur. Hands. Where do you put your hands?
I can see that.
Ладно, пока что не буду петь. Пока что петь не буду. Буквально книга для малышей.
You hold in your hand the colorful primer. The title reads, A Primer for Small Kids. There's a bear involved. Every page has one word designating one letter of the alphabet with a faded illustration. A is for azimuth. B is for H is for homeboy. I is for E. Q is for quasar. That's it. You know the alphabet.
Good. I also know the alphabet.
This book will show you the score. Get you oriented with those basic concepts you appear to be hazy on. The anthropomorphic bear will give you the lowdown of your life. The alphabet.
Так, ладно, тут вечером споем. Давайте с этими долбоебами поговорим.
Boy, am I ever so grateful to you, officer. But I'm not the only one who wants to thank you.
It's great to see you again, officer. My wife can't wait to thank you. Go on, talk to...
Oh, sweetie, I don't even know how to thank you for finding my husband and helping him out. I hope we haven't been too much trouble for you.
I knew it.
Well, in that case, sweetie, let me give you a small token of my gratitude. It's a tie, Mesk in origin. The pin is an antique, quite special to the cryptozoological community.
The little silvery knob holding the tie together feels warm in your hand. It's in the shape of... You could ask her about this when you get the time. It's probably a cryptid, but the phasmid, of course, is more important.
Oh, you don't want to hear about some old woman's ramblings.
Ramblings? Nonsense. Your description of the phasmid is the most precise I've ever heard.
But, darling, I didn't even get the size of it.
You were a child, my dear. Really. It's extraordinary what you were able to describe. Now go on. Tell our friend about...
Reflexively, the lieutenant read his familiar notebook.
Well, it was summer. I was building a racing track out of sand on the beach near a tall stand of reeds. Quite a tall one. Many times my height, I remember. When, all of a sudden... I'm getting ahead of myself. I was 5.5 in Betancourt in the suburbs.
Betancourt got bombed in the war. It used to be quite near, circa...
The strangest moment of my life. I looked up and one of the reeds moved. Not like a plant, but like a living thing. It stood up and looked at me. Its body unfolded like some antique toy. I've never seen anything like it.
She had no fear.
I didn't know this can happen, so I reached my arm and touched the thing. It felt just like a stalk of reed, but it moved, swaying, towering above me. After a while, 20 seconds, a minute maybe, it left. I tried, but I was only a child. There was mud and high water. I couldn't see it anymore. I was just stuck. I ran back home to my grandmother and asked her if reeds could walk and told her they were looking at me. For years, it was a story I told at parties when I wanted to impress boys, that sort of thing. Of course, most people just took it as a straight...
We were on a date. Can you imagine? She tells me a story, and it's the most detailed report of the Insulindian phasmid I've ever heard. The sounds. She told me it hissed.
So that's how they met. This is beyond significant for them.
It did, yes.
The way it moved, the colour, how some of its limbs were white, like marble. It matched perfectly with what I know from other accounts. It was amazing. If it weren't for Lena, I might have given up hope years ago. It's no exaggeration to say that she restored my faith in my profession.
Our first, yes.
The glance is tender, yes, but tempered by something else. A thought she can't express, even to him.
Not all of them. There is some white coloration reported, along with beige, where the camouflage ends.
It's hard to say how big things are when you're quite small yourself. To me, it seemed to be taller than I was then, but that's probably not the case.
How could she? Who imagines this? She didn't know about the phasmid. This is the main thing here, what makes it a confirmed sighting.
So she couldn't have made it up, or imagined it.
That's true, yes. I'm almost certain neither my mother nor my grandmother knew of it. It was only when I started telling my story as a teenager that boys would tell me, "Lena, you trying to tell us you saw the Insulindian phasmid out there in those reeds? Get out of here." They just give me a cider and ruffle my hair and tell me to stop dreaming. But I saw it.
I thought it was a wonderful story, ma'am.
You're welcome, sweetie. I do appreciate the chance to relive it whenever I get one. It was just such an impossibly sunshiny day. So warm.
There's really no point in manipulating anyone. She'd be only too pleased to tell you about her work. Go on and ask.
Oh, I'd be delighted. Truth be told, I could really use the company.
One cryptid, not a couple. One. This won't turn into some kind of cryptid extravaganza. And I don't. Just one.
Ooh, tough choice there.
No, it's the cryptid. The eight-eyed pterotorn, the largest flying avian ever discovered, with a wingspan of 11.5 meters. It was thought to have gone extinct 3,500 years ago.
Mutation? All of evolution is a mutation.
Until it was sighted by renowned Gotvaldian explorer and naturalist.
This renown seems a bit dubious. Your own catalogue comes up completely empty. But, of course, you are not all-knowing.
It happened on a botanical expedition into the vast and unexplored Oamrau Canyon in southeast Ilmara. Dr. Plattenkalk got separated from his group during a sandstorm. The world's largest canyon system, sweetie. It's a barren waste east of the Erg Desert. Alone in the blasted desert heat, the doctor wandered eastward, where he was lost without any navigation equipment and desperately low on water. After a day or two, he noticed a bird high in the noon sky. A great black bird. It's every now and then the bird would dive down to feed on an animal carcass somewhere on the horizon. But by the time Uva got there,
Eat the bird. Uva. It's the only way to survive.
Yes, a bird that big has a lot of blood in it, and he was dying of thirst. For many days, Dr. Plattenkalk followed the pterotorn. The professor climbed up there with a rock in his hand. He found the bird sleeping with his head tucked under its wing, a great black pile of feathers.
Watch out.
Then the pterotorn suddenly looked at him. He could see it had 8 eyes, 4 on either side of its skull, like a spider. And the bird was controlling his mind. It kept him from approaching. He could step back. Every time he stepped forward, paralysis. Uva spent 3 days trying until the bird flew away. The 8-eyed pterotorn was indifferent to him, as long as he didn't get closer than 2 steps. It even let him feed on some carcasses up there, and the 2 unfertilized eggs it left behind. Absolutely, sweetie. Cryptozoologists have been tracing it ever.
Modern radar telemetry shows great promise. We will confirm this one.
This one I liked. Not only does it have 8 eyes, and is a living fossil, and the largest bird ever to live.
He's sincere. He likes the audacity of it.
Sadly, yes. But there are numerous reports of 8-eyed bird skulls from Il Mara. And then there's the striking resemblance to the Pericarnassian imperial...
Not really. It's just stylization. The way they drew eyes.
Very, very hard.
This one's very famous. Everyone knows it. People will be looking at that tie on you and thinking, that man is into cryptids. So, what else do you want to know? Yes, it's the kind green ape, half war story, half undiscovered species in the genus Homo. Yes, it was reported by soldiers in South Safra during the war. The kind green ape would visit bunkers during the night, healing wounded soldiers with its saliva. Yes, it has amazing healing qualities. Some soldiers reported growing back limbs, regaining their sight. Indeed, there is. It's our closest relative among the cryptids. Which is to say, the kind green ape is a species with which we share a common ancestor and that evolved parallel to our own, just like your partners.
I'm beginning to wonder if I should.
Please don't misunderstand me, either of you. I didn't mean to imply that Saolites are inferior to us. In many ways, you are superior. For example, your earwax doesn't have a foul odor like ours does.
A tremendous evolutionary advantage, I'm sure. But perhaps we've had enough speculative biology for today? Hey, you promised you'd only ask about one cryptid.
The lieutenant pauses.
Ah, fuck it. Let's have more cryptids.
Well, the answer is yes. There is the Col de Mama d'Aqua, or thin whisper of sound. And that's precisely what it seems to be. Self-replicating sound waves, invisible and intangible.
Col de Mama d'Aqua can also be translated as a whisper light and low.
Yes. That's another translation. Although the low part is a little ironic. The Col de Mama d'Aqua makes, or rather is, such a high-pitched sound that
Fine, I'll bite. How can an animal be a sound?
Many scientists have asked the same question. Some have claimed that it isn't itself a sound, but a tiny corpuscle that emits sound waves. It could be. As I said, it could be everywhere. And we wouldn't know any better.
Maybe it's predatory.
It's not. Don't worry. If it were predatory, we would have found it by the damage it inflicts.
I wouldn't be so sure. What if the damage is also invisible?
plenty. It's the evidence that led to its discovery. In the 20s, a group of areopagite ornithologists, that is, scientists who study birds, were trying out a new recording technology for capturing sounds outside the range of human hearing. When playing back recordings they had made in the foothills of the Ea mountain range, they noticed certain anomalies, patterns that seemed random at first. The scientists soon discovered they could track and even predict what appeared to be feeding, mating, and migration patterns based on sound waves in a strictly delimited range of ultrasonic frequencies, even higher than those of the highest pitched bat calls.
She transforms, when speaking about these strange animals, into a confident woman.
They realized that they had discovered a new species and called it the Col de Mamadaqua, after the Paracanassian name for the voice of God, which is they grew quite obsessed with these little birds. Even though they couldn't see them, they could distinguish among individual birds and sequester, time, joscan. Those are but some of the Mamadaqua they followed individually. That is a sad story. A group of university students assisting with the field work in their enthusiasm for the project, and no doubt because they were preoccupied, they tried to communicate with it and had no other means but sound. So they started sending out sound waves at frequencies they thought might match the Mama.
This lady really should be a teacher. She's really good at psst. They cancel each other out. Psst.
Exactly. And these tests were performed so recklessly that when they happened upon the right frequency, well, they wiped out most. After that, the corpuscle appears to have migrated elsewhere. There have been recordings of anomalies similar to those spotted in Ea, but they've been few and far.
Of course. A common thread in these. Disappearance and unfalsifiability. I like the story, though.
I'm glad you did, dear. What about what? The Gnome of Jeroma. Oh, it is. None of his victims survived. Grieving relatives never even found their body. It was reportedly a small creature with webbed fingers and a protruding forehead and a gangly little thing. A couple of campers found it when it was already dying. They heard an odd wailing in the woods and followed the sound. They were scared and wrapped it in tarpaulin to suffocate it. It still took the Gnome of Jeroma an entire day to die.
If the body of the creature was found, why aren't there detailed illustrations of it in science textbooks, confirming the existence of this very little species?
Alas, the first scientist who got his hands on the creature's corpse put it in a jar of formaldehyde, thinking that would detoxify the gnome. Instead, all the venom leaked out of the creature's teeth and into the surrounding liquid, dissolving the creature itself. A poetic end, perhaps, but a real loss for science.
Alas, always alas, and then it was gone. Isn't that overly convenient?
I understand your skepticism, but that's what happens with things that are rare and stand out. Their disappearance is most memorable, and they are least like. That would be the giant of Kokonur. The giant lives in the most arid parts of the vast Kokonur Desert in South Samara, casting a mirage or a Psychogenous luminance. No one knows for sure. It is like an awful mountain appearing from below the horizon and expanding to cover almost a third of your field of vision. The towering luminosity of Kokonur is a bad omen in local folklore. Some say
Poor. No animal can be that large. It's a mirage.
that's what makes it so peculiar. A species surviving at the very limits of scientific. There are limits, you see, to how large a metabolism an ecosystem can beget. Some say a gravity anomaly below the Kokonur desert might.
Gravity anomaly? Digging it. Digging this parascientific stuff right here.
Cryobacter catlensis. Yes, a unicellular bacterium that was discovered in one of the northernmost points of Kotla on the Boreal Plateau by renowned geologist Caitlin Mijanou some 70 years ago. The bacterial colony Mijanou found had remained alive while frozen in ice for. Mijanou disappeared shortly after injecting herself with the bacteria she had brought back to study, no doubt in hopes of prolonging her. Yes, the bacteria had survived in the ice.
It's actually a little hard to see, but do go on.
Yes, and she's quite mad too. After she treated herself with the bacteria, she stopped aging, but also became increasingly eccentric and irascible, so that even her oldest friends were. We can assume that she has been living somewhere in the wilderness for decades now, all alone except for the Cryobacter catlensis. Yes, a bacteria. Mijanou disappeared shortly after injecting herself with the bacteria she had brought back to study, no doubt in hopes of prolonging her own life. While, yes, impossible? No, everything has a. After Mijanou treated herself, we can assume that she has been living somewhere in the wilderness for decades. I'm glad you like them, but I'm not really one to tell you about all of them. You should ask my husband if you get the chance. He's the real expert. I hope you were able to pawn that old trinket. Oh, thank you, dear. I confess I am glad to see it again.
Even the lieutenant seems happy with this turn of events.
Now, what else, sweetie?
Ha ha! Nothing like the gratitude of a good woman. Now then.
He tries to play it cool, remain professorial, but inside, this man is itching for some news on those traps.
Hell no. I had no idea. And I'm still cross with him, to be honest. It's not like him. He's got his quirks, but dishonesty, disloyalty are not one of them.
Thanks.
Good. Okay. And? Completely empty?
No locusts? No.
That's not ideal, but...
It just means the Insulindian phasmid is even more clever than we thought.
She's engaging in a well-known self-deception called motivate.
Of course, more clever.
You're dealing with a subject near and dear to their hearts. It might behove you to tread lightly.
Yes, the Phantasmadeia picked off the locusts and escaped. This is good news, though we'll have to reconsider the design of the trap.
Another trip to the reeds.
Of course we have.
Wait, Morel. He may have a point.
You're right, dear. It's a fair point. But what other explanation could there be? Pardon me. This is a big deal for us. You've helped us twice now. And brought some great news too. My gratitude.
Heartfelt gratitude. But does it feel like some kind of foul play might be afoot?
Thank you, it's an honor. We should probably return to our main investigation here. This has been refreshing, but...
Damn it, Lieutenant. Have you no intellectual curiosity? Consider the way the empty trap was disturbed, as though shaken. Most likely the hands of a young person, hands small enough to fit inside the trap, too. You should ask the red-headed boy, Kuno.
A little hooligan. But what would...
Oh, my dear Morel. You've been an old man for too long. Kids love to torment insects almost as much as they love to torment old folks.
Delinquents, my favorite.
Oh, you've been such a dear to us. Please, let us know whatever you turn up.
Well, I see you've got all the help you need. I'll see you tonight at my place. Let's play suzerainty, but no more field trips for me.
After this is your last chance to talk to Gary.
Really, Gary? We're getting somewhere here. I'd love to play suzerainty, but...
Lena, I'm sorry, but you're not getting anywhere. It was some kids. I know the little mutants around here. Morel, it's been fun. Really. But I need a bath, and I have deliveries to handle. When this tea is done...
No need to apologize, Gary. You'd be more than helpful.
He keeps the language unemotional, but it's in there.
Always a pleasure to see officers. I'm sorry for what I...
Short means sincere in these things.
I told...
'Tis true, sire. This man simply did not know what he was getting caught up in.
No.
After all this time with Morel, he must have an opinion on cryptids. This could lead to a good one.
Oh, yes. The burning rhino. Morel doubts he's real, but I don't much care. A rhinoceros that looks ordinary during the day, but burns brightly by night. But the flames are not just for decoration. They are an integral part. During the burning rhino's mating season, herds of male rhinos, all aflame, local peasants call it the passion ring. They fear...
The lieutenant sighs. It's clear the burning rhino is dear to him on many levels. Some even spiritual.
They have special ducts just above their shoulder blades that secrete a combustible fluid. When the rhino...
But how is this combustible fluid lit?
The rhino starts running very fast to build heat, then stops, raises its head, and sparks fly from its neck, setting its back ablaze. Yeah, well, Revacol used to be a flaming rhino once, a long time ago.
Super solid argument, Gary. Can't argue with that. The man ponders his cooking utensils. The man ponders he smiles and nods enthusiastically and, chattering away in his language, ladles some brew into a small thermal cup, then hands it to you. Was that? Could it be the Col de Mama d'Aqua? No, it's probably just your imagination ringing in your... There seems to be an extremely high-pitched ring, ultrasonic. Lena also said that it couldn't be heard by any other animal, including you. Honestly, your ear isn't hearing a whole lot. The distant hum of the industrial harbor, the traffic, but admittedly, there is a high-pitched noise somewhere there too. But then, isn't there always? There it is again. You're about to rediscover a long-lost... Yeah, but how are you going to catch it? It must be very close. Maybe, just maybe. Keep still. It might perch on your shoulder.
No, I don't hear the Col de Mama d'Aqua.
Of course he doesn't. He's deaf. Oh no. The sound. It's moving away. Somewhere over there. No. Too late. It's gone. There is no ringing anymore. Just the sound of the streets. Keep your ears peeled, then. If the species really has migrated to Martinez, you're sure to hear it again.
Fuck, does Kuno care? No, Kuno doesn't give a fuck about bugs.
So he knows locusts are bugs.
Oh my god, I told you that shit is lame!
Shut up, see.
Now they're gonna take you to lame prison! Deny everything, Kuno. You need to lawyer up.
Kuno's not gonna say anything without his lawyer present.
Lame. That rings some bells. Could this be connected to Night City? AKA the City of Rage.
Oh god, Kuno, no! It's gonna happen now. They're gonna make you lame.
Stop it, see. No one's gonna make anyone lame. Kuno's got this under control.
There's definitely something going on here. You should check out Kuno's shack, the one with the pig's head.
Kuno doesn't...
All around you, the hisses and chirps of locusts fill the musky air. The earthen floor of the shack has been shaped into mounds of mud, dotted with little holes for windows. Like skyscrapers, spires of dirt and sand rising. accommodations for their insectoid inhabitants?
Well, detective, it appears you've solved the case of the locusts. For the missing locust case, which is a sub-case of the imaginary insect case. So at least that's going well. Oh, I'm not being sarcastic at all. We are making...
When someone says they're not being sarcastic, it's usually a good sign that they're being very sarcastic.
If anything, the presence of the locust points to the opposite. The Phasmid did not take the bait from the traps. It was cute. But what do I know?
Use your powers of deduction. You knew the magic bug was nowhere near here. The Phasmid is impairing your judgment.
I'll let you handle the Kuno side of things. You are doing
Fuck does Kuno care? Yeah. Kuno took the books. So what? It's not Bugtown. It's the city of locusts. Locusts aren't just bug shit. They come out of the sky like a fucking shadow. Shit descends.
Stop!
Locusts coming down like a shadow. This must be the night city he mentioned when you asked him where he's been.
Yeah, Locust City. City of Rain.
There's a tug of war over the name of his fantastical city. It's almost too big. The girl forces herself to watch again, the corners of her eyes twitching from discomfort.
Maybe I am.
Did he just say I? Kuno usually calls Kuno, Kuno.
Kuno made Kuno. Kuno says whatever the fuck he wants. There are no rules here, pig. I fucking say I when I wanna, and Kuno when I wanna. Kuno's free.
This is what he sometimes does when things get tense.
Oh my god, Kuno! He's gonna make you totally lame in, like, 3 seconds!
Yo, fuck you, see? Kuno can be what Kuno wants to be. Kuno's his own man. Kuno's free. Kuno made himself into Kuno. Kuno can make himself into anything. Kuno can make himself into a pig if he wants. Kuno can make himself into a... Kuno doesn't give a sh...
Don't make yourself into a pig, Kuno! You'll have to take me away!
In it, you hear snow melting, dripping from the eaves. Someone closing a window. So that's what this is about. Without a word, she disappears entirely behind the fence. For once, the boy is lost for words. He turns completely red. You got him. Now convince him to leave the cryptozoologist's traps alone.
I don't give a shit. I don't need the locusts anyway. Shit is all lame now. C was right.
The girl's face appears again, above the fence. Just long enough to make eye contact. She doesn't know whether to be glad because Kuno is finally convinced of the lameness, or more worried because because of his continued use of the first person singular. Kuno is Kuno, not I.
Kuno's gonna let the fucking locusts die. It don't mean anything. It's shit. Kuno just likes to focus. Kuno likes to concentrate on shit. Build shit when he's zipping hard. Fuck. Pig, you really shouldn't have fucked with Kuno City. Now it's all fucking lame. The fuck are they trying to catch anyway? With the traps?
He recognizes the name.
Bitches think Kuno doesn't know shit. The fuck out of here. Kuno's...
As you leave, you notice his usual rooster-like swaying posture has changed. Slowed down.
Fuck does Kuno care? Kuno doesn't...
Да. Я знаю. Давай с этой уродиной поговорим.
I'll die before.
Иди ты нахуй.
Oh, hello, sweetie.
Hello, officer. I think I almost have it. A new trap design, that is. I know you're skeptical, but I have a good feeling about this. So it was just a child.
Thank you for telling us, sweetie. This is good news, right? It means we can try again.
She acts chipper, but something's changed in her tone.
Yeah, you're right. We just need to restock the empty trap. Then we'll need to inspect the trap's one.
He has a 38-degree fever. His resilience has...
Darling, I told you to take it easy. You're getting sick.
You're right. We can come back next season, when it's warmer.
That's just something people tell themselves when they fail.
Of course, sweetie. You've helped us so much already. Everyone would understand if you...
You can? Fine. It's better than having these people get pneumonia on the coast. But after this...
He wants to see this tale through as much as you. Otherwise, he'd have stopped this already. But he cannot let it drag out after this.
Really? It's too much, officer.
What Morel means is we're great.
These are fresh fractured locusts. They should slide right down the funnel. And thank you again. We will definitely mention you, should this lead to a discovery.
Раз, блядь.
I'm not talking...
Старый пидор, блядь. Так, ладно, что там у меня дальше? Самообладание, техника, эквилибристика, восприятие, координация. Цель вся огонь. Так. Энциклопедия, логика, сила воли. Так. Полицейская волна, такие суммы. А что там по мыслям? Временный бонус за исследование нет. Временный бонус за исследование. Ну, типа... Ну, это даже не то чтобы бонус, это скорее... Как это сказать? Дебаф какой-то. Бля, вот это интересно было бы сделать. Блин. Ну-ка, ладно. Эквилибристик. Ну, в принципе, давайте, хорош. Может, мысли, правда, делать. Давайте. И усвоить. Давайте попробуем. Лингвистика, блядь. Лингвистика. Что там у нас по заданиям? Первичный осмотр тела. Ну давай спросим сейчас прям.
Yes? Wonderful. What is your takeaway? I can't stop a grown man from learning about the fundamental geographic and anthropogenic features.
Perhaps I was overprotective, is what's insinuated.
Then I was right to spare you from it, no? Anyway, the pale is no more terrifying than, say, water or death, or that we are stuck behind our eyes for all eternity. Excuse me, large topics are not my forte. You seem stable enough. Keep it that way. Now, was there anything else, or should we get to it? What do you want to know? What's there to say? It's just stupidity. The cop kind. Our precincts can't decide if Martinez is part of Jamrock or the industrial harbor. Yours or mine, as if we somehow own parts of the city. Typical street gang mentality. So we've let the Union make a mockery of law enforcement here, and now it's come to its natural conclusion. Well, sort of. It's less a matter of who gets to police Martinez than who has to. It's an I think the dispatch desk just told both our stations about the hanging. There was quite the brouhaha at the 57th, I can tell you that. Time to settle it, they said. Cop off. But I assure you, I am not their finest or toughest with 102 cases solved. What I am is least interested in a pissing competition.
So he volunteered to represent the 57th, but not out of competitiveness. Somewhere in your mind hangs a dark green blackboard. There are two columns. One says, cases solved. The other, confirmed kills. The rows are endless. Jean Vicmer, Judith Minot, a special consultant. What was his name? Then the rows degrade into green nothingness.
Well, technically, the official record keeper has been known to double-count murder-suicides.
A common accounting gimmick used to inflate precinct stats.
I'm good enough for this case. I'm not here to compete. I came because I had to. My fellow officers, the sergeants in particular, would have made this scene into a circus. Martinez? Nothing. It's just a puddle at the end of some drain pipe. No one cares about this place. They care about sports. Most of our colleagues don't even know how to get here. North of the interchange doesn't exist.
Clearly, he has already formed his own. It's all part of the master plan, you see.
A good joke. Oh, you will? Then I will help you to do so. Now... Was there anything else you wanted to ask about the competition? If not, we should move. Yes, I'm an unrepentant spoilsport. Yes, it's a wholly pointless matter. Forget I ever mentioned it.
He's actually glad it's addressed now. Look at you. It's because you're a failure. They sent you to slight Precinct 57. Just think about it for a second. You're a raging alcoholic who showed up 3 days late wearing piss-stained disco garb. You weren't sent here to win.
I've considered it. I don't think I can say one way or another. I do think it's somewhat I checked the records. This jurisdiction dispute, who polices Martinez, reaches back to the 30s. It's as old as my station. And all this time we can't decide who gets Martinez? I think, yes, both stations would prefer a win. I am the finest of nothing. Safe? No. But you're old. You've made it this far. Something has brought you through. We've only just started working together. So no, I don't think they sent you as a joke. And even if they did, they are in for a surprise.
Отлично. Спойте под караоке. Сегодня спою. Так, вот это вот, я не знаю, найдите ход потайной коридор. Твою мать, и где это искать? Найдите сигареты и покурите. Ну, блин. Блин, ну пойдемте, блядь. Купим сигарет, что ли. Задание это выполнять надо. Как-то. Хотя не знаю, типа, как это повлияет на меня, как на персонажа, я имею в виду.
A colourful display of cigarettes and alcohol.
Again, I'm obliged to inform you that both alcohol and cigarettes damage your health.
А у меня нету разве сигарет? О, ну-ка. Сила воли, внутренняя империя. Угу. Да не, нету. Давайте туда покупать.
Again, I'm obliged to inform you. Here you go, mister.
Поехали. Давайте покурим, я хуй его знает. Там еще было что-то про выпить. Ну ладно, придется нам этого чувака сейчас все-таки раздеть, продезинфицировать всю эту хуйню. Блять, не хотелось бы это делать. В реальности я бы не стал бы так делать на самом деле. Ну ладно. Инструменты, пачка, интеллект, здоровье, блять. Плохо дело. Ну и...
There it is. A brave little army in your pocket. The 1st Smokes platoon. 20 brave souls standing in salute. You picked the best one. This soldier is fat and succulent.
Стань
What are you
снова
waiting
самим
for?
собой.
Light up. Re-become yourself.
Вот в чем дело, короче. Я думаю, что
Already you
не стоит этим заниматься, короче. То есть не курить, не пить, не наркоманить, короче, ничего. Вот. Мне кажется, в этом посыл игры, короче. Надо типа выкарабкиваться из этого всего. Ну ладно, давайте завершим на этом данное прохождение. Эту часть, по крайней мере. Надо передохнуть. Ну и потом с новыми силами как-нибудь продолжим дальше проходить.